Okay, so my name's Caitlin Hecker. Um, just going to dive into the essential question. As an advanced educational professional, how would you apply data and data analysis to ensure your continuous improvement plan is focused on closing gaps? Um, this year, I am going to be the lead teacher. This is only my third year, but I'll be the head teacher for my fifth grade team. Both of my co-teachers have moved on to the middle school levels, so I will be with a brand new teacher just out of college. And then my other teacher was previously our technology teacher. So I'm excited to have her technology background with the knowledge I've gained from this class as far as data analysis. Each week we have 30 minutes to an hour of team planning. So I would like to use some of that team planning time to actually look at our data from our different assessments to try and close that gap. This last year, my team really only looked at our STAR reading and math, and we looked at that after our testing window was closed. But we really didn't change our instruction. It's terrible to say, but we didn't change what we were doing to close those gaps. We just looked to see where the kids were at and then continued on. So this year I really want to focus our Math Academy time on closing those math gaps, building their number fluency, things like that. As far as our state assessments, that's in the same boat. We were able to see how our students compared to our district students as well as to the other students in the state. But past that, we didn't really touch on how to improve the gaps. So I really want to start the year off really looking at the data and analyzing it and changing our teaching, changing our instruction to help our students. After this course, I've been on Pinterest. Of course, every teacher is on Pinterest. Talking about the social and emotional, really taking the students and giving them control of their learning with social and emotional, as well as implementing, their own data charts. So the students would be aware of where they're at with our writing rubrics and our reading rubrics. And I really want them to have ownership of their learning, for them to decide where they need to improve. And I really want to work on a way to have the students chart that information independently. That way I'm not the only one analyzing data. I think it would be interesting if they took control of it also. So that's where I'm at. Next year I want to analyze more data and have the students take ownership of analyzing their data as well.
How many elementary schools do you have there in Maine?
Currently we have 4. We're trying to pass a bond, so we would only have 3, which would make my elementary school the largest. And we would go from having 3 sections to 5 sections. Yeah.
How many do you have in your class?
This last year I had 20 to 22, depending on the time of the year. We had a lot of students move in and out of our district, but I max out at 25. So.
You're not the only district, so
yeah.
That transient nature has really increased a lot. We've been starting that for some of our KISA data as well.
Yeah. Any other questions, or do you want me to hit you with my question?
Yes, you can hit us with your question.
Okay. We kind of talked about this in your video. My question is, what do you guys do with your data? How do you break down your data? Do you look at it weekly? Do you look at it monthly? I know it's going to be different since we've talked about our roles being different, but how often are you guys using your assessment data to fix your teaching or to correct your teaching?
I'll go first with that one. I know I said on my video, I only had one assessment that really tests ag ed, which is kind of frustrating with electives. And truthfully, if you ever talk to other CPE teachers, ag is actually the only one that has a state assessment. And so, like, wood doesn't, facts doesn't, computers and business doesn't. We have also a math CPE assessment they can take as a senior, but that's it. So a lot of my data is actually formative data that I have to do throughout the student's, career with me. Some of that I can take with the state assessments with science because I do teach animal science and horticulture, and I do because I know there's certain things I have to cover in those classes to make sure that they have that knowledge for those state assessments. But most of mine is formative data. I take that a variety of different ways: quizzes, tests, projects. With ag, we do a lot more hands-on things versus like just a paper pencil test. Also, with ag, there's FFA, so we can actually do a more competition-based, so I can compare them to other students in our district, in the North Central FFA district, to see where we're kind of at in our knowledge and skill level in different content areas.
Okay. Caitlin, how familiar you are with like EduClimber?
That's a program that we are starting hopefully this year. I know it was introduced last year, but we didn't have all of our data plugged in yet. So I'm hoping this year teachers will have a better access to it. Do you guys use EduClimber too?
I am what EduClimber is.
Well, the teachers are encouraged to use it, and then that way they can be more familiar with it for next year. And then I do know there's that professional development program to go over it during the summer. So
you're in the same boat then.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't use it, and I don't have access really to it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're ready to paraphrase our discussion.
So paraphrasing, it kind of sounds like all of us are at a different point with our data collection, and also kind of a learning point. It's kind of at a starting point, realizing how important data is and how we can utilize it to maybe make it better. Definitely all of us are at a different point in a different place and where we are and how we can use that data.
Yeah, I agree. We all have access to some pretty cool features, some cool assessments, but it's almost overwhelming, I think, at times, how much we have the ability to use. So
definitely agree. So I guess the next is to give you some ideas. Is that correct? Give you some ideas of what to do. Maybe some ideas is, I know it sounds like you have an excellent opportunity with your planning time and that group planning time. Really utilize that and dig into some of those data. But I think one thing to remember is maybe don't get overwhelmed with the data either. Gotta start in chunks and chunk it out, just like we do with students. We don't just say, here's everything.
Yeah.
Chunk it out and just keep working in little bites so you can see improvement in those areas, and then you can keep getting a wider swath.
Okay, so wrapping this up, definitely going to not dive into all of our assessments, but maybe utilize the assessments we're currently looking at, utilize them better in analyzing the data to actually close our gaps. Once we have ropes on the STAR reading and math data, I think we'll venture off into other assessment areas to help close those learning gaps for our students. So thank you for your ideas and inputs.